came back because I was too uncomfortable to be on camera and too busy. Either that or I was procrastinating. So, yeah, the next episode here is Numbers 1. This one is quite a weird episode. Yeah, and this was, I think, the third Numbers episode to air in the US dub. So, the segment where the Teletubbies are taking turns wearing the skirt is at the beginning of the episode instead of at the end. When the segment starts, like after the intro, it shows the baby son smiling. They show different sounds of her sighing, and the bird sounds are different too. And then the segment just starts right away with no opening shots, which I don't even remember, honestly. I kind of remember it had I think it was like the Home Hill 1 opening shot. But yeah, very silly segment. I noticed on the Dance with the Teletubbies video, but it ends a bit differently because in the Dance with the Teletubbies video they use a different shot of the baby son giggling at the end, which is the same one from the For Happy Teletubbies segment. But here they use the original shot of her screaming. But then something very odd happens, which I may or may not remember, but I don't think I remember happening this episode. I thought I hallucinated it when I saw it, but yeah. I remember someone made a custom windmill clip of this, and I didn't believe them when he said, "Sorry, it was those loud neighbors again." I hate it when that happens. But yeah, but when I saw this in a custom windmill clip, I didn't believe this guy when he said it was based on an episode he saw years ago. Uh, and yeah, the custom windmill clip has been deleted because his account got terminated for some reason. He hasn't returned to YouTube since. He made a lot of interesting windmill clips. Uh, but basically, and I guessed that it was this episode where it happened, but a lot of people were saying it happened before a magical event. But yeah, basically, uh, the bird's eye view windmill clip, where the windmill seen from far away next to the house, and some rabbits are closer to camera. I think you might know what that one is. Usually, when that clip is used, they would show the Teletubbies coming outside the house, and they see the windmill spinning a bit up closer, and they say, "Uh oh," and run off. Which I kind of remember. I could have sworn that happened here, but instead, it does not show the Teletubbies saying "uh oh" at all. Just like with the falling down dance, when the windmill starts spinning at the end of that dance, it just cuts to the other clip of the windmill spinning for the TV event. It's very odd and very weird, and I don't know. And the TV event music they use is the one from Little Baby, which is used in live episodes. And then we have the TV event, which Lala is chosen. None of the UK numbers TV events have her being chosen. But yeah, pretty basic TV event. I honestly only remember numbers 2 and number 6's TV events, but I think I'm vaguely remembering this one. I remember there was one part with just one mail truck instead of multiple of them, and I think the fire trucks are the same. And then after that is the standing on one leg segment from balancing. The baby son's giggling at the beginning of the segment is different. Very silly scene. I feel like I might have seen it before. Very dangerous scene actually, because one part Poe is standing on one leg while on her scooter as she starts riding away, and the similar thing happens in that one episode when Poe fell asleep on her scooter. So yeah, it's kind of an off day for me. And then they go watch the Dancing Bear. It's the same version from Bubble Pictures. The baby son shown giggling at the beginning of the event, unlike in some of the earlier episodes of the original series where she's not shown at all. The bear dances once, and the windmill stops spinning, and like the camera already fades to the voice trumpet before the sparkles can like fully disappear, and the voice trumpet's like halfway up, kind of similar to in My Pretend Friend, except that had the bear dancing twice. So yeah, in a Teletubbies documentary called Big Hug, the story of Teletubbies, I think is what's called. I think you can find it on YouTube if you search Teletubbies documentary. There's a few clips of some children watching this episode, and it's also shown on a bonus feature on the Time to Dance DVD, which I think you can also find, called Understanding Teletubbies. We'll get to that later. So yeah, Tinky Winky's the missing Teletubby and Lala's the Boo Shouter. This is a common pairing that's seen in a lot of episodes. So yeah, in the Pledge Drive area, apparently the opening scene is the tick-tock noises from the voice trumpet from Hickory Dickory Dock, which I don't think I remember happening in this episode. I'm not sure. I only remember seeing it on Nursery Rhymes. But yeah, and yeah, it's the only thing different. Plus, I think Dipsy's the Boo Shouter. So yeah, and in the rerun airings, uh, they do the up and down dance in the middle of the episode, and I think it might be. Hold on. Yeah, I'm right. It's the same version from Painting Easter Eggs, and then they still watch the Dancing Bear. I think. Just fixing this document. Oh, in the pledge drive airing, the second half of the episode is the second half of the strawberry picking episode with the round and round dance and the scene with Dipsy's present, which I may remember seeing, but the round and round dance is the same version from throwing. I really gotta like label these a little bit better. Now when I keep like turning on a like notepad, it word wrap is just automatically on every time I open it up. I really hate that. It's like YouTube with their errors that they never fix. So yeah, and what else was I gonna say? In the Sprout airing, the opening scene is a scene from Ice Lollies or Ice Lollipops, where Lala was to make Tubby custard, but she doesn't have time because the windmill starts spinning. I vaguely remember seeing this segment. It was actually a kind of a recurring sketch, I guess you could call it, where like each of the Teletubbies try to make Tubby custard, but they can't because it's time for TV events. I think this is the one I remember, the one with Lala. Basically, she's not even wearing her bib, and when the windmill starts spinning, she just like ah, and she doesn't say oh. Very hilarious. And then after the TV event is the segment from Granddad's Motorbike, where the Teletubbies are taking a look at Poe and her scooter, and then they do the extended version of the walking dance, and Lala's the Boo Shouter, and Poe is the Boo Shouter in the rerun airing with the alternate ending music, from what I remember. At least I think. Washing the car. The whole episode is basically the Sunday special version, but the TV event plays twice. So first, it's the segment where Poe is chasing the Teletubbies into the house. I vaguely remember seeing that one. And then the TV event. I think I might have seen that. I think it's on the Teletubbies' favorite games PC game, which I do have. And then the next segment where the Teletubbies are using their tubby sponges. I think I vaguely remember seeing this. I honestly thought I hallucinated. I think I saw this like segment around the time they stopped airing the show on PBS. So yeah. So yeah. And instead of the windmill stopping, before the windmill stops spinning, they go watch the I don't know what I'm saying. The three ships. It's the same version from Numbers 3, the US version. This time, the windmill's magical event tune is slowed down, which happens in a lot of these episodes, uh, which I don't remember at all. And the baby son's giggling at the beginning is different. The voice trumpet's a bit lower. So, yeah. And Lala's the missing Teletubby, and Poe is the Boo Shouter. And I actually have a home movie. I can't remember if I already mentioned this on another part, but I have a home movie of my sister watching an episode where the windmill stops spinning and then Poe's the Boo Shouter. It could be this episode, or maybe Numbers 3, or maybe some other episode. It might even be Numbers 1, I'm not sure. Or wait, not Numbers 1. No, I think I have a different Numbers episode. And Pledge Drive airing, the three ships is not shown. Instead, the windmill just stopped spinning like in the original episode, which I think I might remember. I think I dreamt about that actually. And at the beginning, it's apparently the Itsy Bitsy Spider segment from Spiders. I do remember seeing that. I think it like was the same version from Bedtime Stories and Lullabies that had the same opening shot at the beginning, and then like Tiki Wiki saw the windmill spinning with the first part of the magical vent tune, and then after a few seconds the regular whooshing sound is heard, and then when he runs off the TV event music plays. And apparently a stamping and stepping dance is used in the middle of the episode. And I think it might be the same version from the Grand Old Duke of York. I think I vaguely remember seeing that. So I think I saw it at the end of an episode, not in the middle. I don't think I ever saw like any episodes where a dance came in the middle, unless it like came before like a magical event, and the magical event just ended the episode. Like if the opening scene and or TV event was too long. And Tinky Winky's the Boo Shouter. In the rerun airing, I think in the rerun airing, Dipsy is the Boo Shouter from what I remember. I think the alternate ending music is used. Apparently, from what I heard, there's like some episodes where something very strange happens, and everyone I know remembers this, but I don't. Is where like when the camera is cuts or fades to the voice trumpet rising, like it already like is facing the camera. It doesn't show it turning its head. And I don't remember anything like that at all. I've been hearing a lot about that lately, but I've never seen it. Apparently I heard it happens in this episode. I could be wrong. But yeah. Actually, I'm gonna check. Yeah, I looked it up. Doesn't say anything about it. I don't think it happens in this episode. But yeah. And in the Sprout airing, I almost like lost track. In the Sprout airing, instead of the three ships, they go watch the Magic House. Which I think is the same version from Rapping, whereas the bottom right window version, and the baby son shown giggling at the end. So yeah. Next up is Our Dog Alice. This is a much different episode than what I remember. The beginning of the episode has the Calypso dance at the beginning, which is very interesting. The same opening shots of this dance is the same ones from the balloon segment from Living in Flats, also. But yeah, but this episode has something very different. And they do an extended version of the dance. And I remember hearing about this before this another episode got uploaded. And I like didn't really believe it at first, but now I'm vaguely starting to remember seeing it. But I don't think this was the episode I saw with it. Because like what happens at the end? At the end of the dance, it shows the baby son smiling clip from Dance with the Teletubbies after the stepping dance, and then it cuts to the scene of the Teletubbies running up the hill from throwing, and the Teletubbies say, a different audio of the windmill whooshing sound is used, and the audio of the Teletubbies saying "uh oh" I don't think was used in any other episodes. But yeah, and then I go watch the TV event. I know I've seen this TV event on the Play with the Teletubbies PC game. I'm not sure if I saw it on TV. I may have. I'm not really sure. Some parts are cut. A little bit of the scenes of Alice eating her biscuit and running around the park are shortened. The baby son's giggling at the end is different as well. And the next segment is the woof woof segment from Walking the Dog. Originally, like, on some websites, they show the description of, like, the US dubs of these episodes. And this one, they mentioned that all four Teletubbies listen to the dog barking from the voice trumpet, which sounds like the segment from Dog Kennel from the Baby Animals video, but apparently it's the other version where Tinky Winky is not there. So yeah, the baby son's giggling at the beginning is different. The opening shot is shortened also. And yeah, and the original voice trumpet voice is kept. The camera cuts to the scene also after the opening shot instead of fading. So yeah. And then after that, something even more weirder. After the baby son's shown giggling, it immediately cuts to the windmill spinning for a magical event, and this time's the animal parade. This version is the same version from the second Sunday special version of Numbers 2. Yeah. Basically, it's the same version from Balancing, where the Teletubbies did not listen for the elephant's trumpet. But when the baby son's shown giggling, the elephant's trumpet is actually heard. Instead of the windmill stopping, it shows the baby son giggling. So yeah. And Pose the missing Teletubby. And Tinky Winky's the boo shouter. Apparently it's the same ending from Walking the Dog, which I looked up when I was comparing like some of the endings from some of the scenes from this episode. And yeah, but the voice trumpet's halfway up. I don't know if that happened in the original episode. So yeah, and the pledge drive airing, apparently the opening segment is the segment from Drawing Cacti, where Tinky Winky is going for a walk. I think I vaguely remember seeing this, but apparently, like, the windmill whooshing sound and TV event music from Rolling is used, at least I think from what I remember. And then apparently it's the same segment from the original UK version of the episode where the dog appeared. I know that segment was in Baby Animals. I think I vaguely remember seeing that. I think it had the same opening shots from the original episode instead of the rabbit clips used in the Baby Animals video. And the Animal Parade is in the middle of the episode after a TV event, and it's the same version from Giraffes, from what I've heard. And Dipsy's the boo shouter. And the rerun airing, apparently the Calypso dance is still shown at the beginning, but the scene of the Teletubbies seeing the windmill spinning is from the original UK version of the episode, when they're playing a game of Here Come the Teletubbies. And the Animal Parade is the same version from Feeding the Monkey, apparently, which I may or may not remember. But yeah. And the Sprout airing, it's the Dizzy dance they do at the beginning of the episode. I think it's the same version from Sparkly Spider, except the windmill whooshing sound at the beginning is different, or at the end is different. And I think the audio of the Teletubbies saying "uh-oh," from what I've heard, is the same one from uh, what's it called? From Pebbles, which I may or may not remember. I remember this, but I don't think it was this episode. There is an episode where that does happen. That we'll get to later. Trying to look for what else happens, and they do the dancing bear at the end, and the bear dances once. I'm not sure if the windmill stops spinning. I'll check. Well, yeah, it doesn't say anything about the windmill stopping, but apparently it says the opening shots from the Lady Birds episode before the opening scene, I almost said sheen, are used, which I'll probably yeah, which I may or may not remember. I meant to say I'm not sure, but I kind of cut off. I had to cut off again, whatever. I'm not saying my words correctly today. I'm getting all kinds of wonky today. Lala is the boo shouter in the rerun airing, which I think I might remember was the alternate ending music. And Tinky Winky is the missing Teletubby in the rerun airing, while Dipsy is in the Sprout airing. Yeah, I'm getting all kinds of wonky, like I just said. Basketball. This is a very popular episode, from what I heard. So yeah. So the opening segment is a little bit different from the original episode. It's the opening segment from Guitars, or Flamenco Guitar, the UK version, where the Teletubbies are bumping tummies and falling down while entering the house. The baby son sighing at the beginning is different. I could have sworn it was the original opening scene from the original UK version of this episode, where the Teletubbies were reaching their arms up. But yeah, I do vaguely remember seeing that. And then after that is the TV event, the boy playing basketball with his dad. The basketball like that the dad plays with is so tiny, or maybe he's just so big, which I never even noticed that. It honestly looks like a Sesame Street segment. Also, there's a McDonald's poster in the background. But yeah, the original child narrator's dialogue from the original UK version is kept. The baby son's giggling at the end is different. And then after that is the balloon segment from uh, from Living in Flats. I don't remember this balloon segment at all. I actually I only saw maybe pictures of it online. I didn't think it was a real episode or something, or a never before seen episode. I literally don't remember this episode having it at all. And it has the same opening shots from Tweet Tweet before the butterfly segment. So yeah, there's two different versions of this balloon segment. This is the one from Living Flats, where they're all taking turns holding the balloon. While the one in Tulips, they're trying to catch it, but it keeps flying away. And then they do the stepping dance. It's kind of the same version from the US version of Amy's Pasta, except something very interesting happens. The Teletubbies cheer twice. They cheer when they finish the dance the first time, and then when they finish the second time, which was mind-blowing. And when they finish the second time, they cheer a bit too early. The baby son giggling at the end is different. The full clip is used. I think it was shorter in the Amy's Pasta episode, and the voice trumpet's a few inches lower. So yeah, this is so far the last episode where the Teletubbies aren't heard giggling during the dance, except for when they cheer at the end. They're just completely silent, which I may or may not remember happening in this episode. It was either this or Amy's Pasta. But yeah. I think I may even remember happening once during the tiptoe dance. I'm not sure. But yeah, and Dipsy's the boo shouter with the end credits going a bit slower than usual, and also the missing Teletubby. And the pledge drive airing, it is the same uh, version of the balloon segment from Tulips at the beginning of the episode before the TV event. And because the segment's so long, at the end they only have time for the Calypso dance, which is the same version from Spiders, which that version of the dance is used a lot in this. I don't know why I'm hiccuping, but yeah. Pose the Boo Shouter. Yeah. Yeah, I think this was one of those episodes where the Children's Television Workshop showed up, like, logo showed up at the end of the episode, or later reruns the Sesame Workshop logo. Yeah. Yeah, I think they might have co produced this episode. And the rerun airing of the opening scene is apparently the Four Happy Teletubbies segment from Gospel Singing at the beginning of the episode. And then after that, it's the jumping dance, the same version from Irish Dancing, and the Magic House, which is the top left window version, and the windmill stops spinning. I think I vaguely remember seeing the top left window version, but that one's the more rare one. That one's a little bit different than the other ones, because when the house starts to disappear and the windows are still there, the curtains are still there as well, and the music that plays when they disappear is also different as well. And Tinky Winky is the Boo Shouter and also the missing Teletubby. And then the Sprout airing, it's the opening segment from Twirlers where the voice trumpet makes a loud whistling sound and Tinky Winky like runs away from it. I think I might have seen that. I'm not sure. And then the second half of the episode is the second half, the rollerblading episode, where Tinky Winky is chasing the Nunu, and then he goes to watch the animal parade. But instead of the windmill stopping, they do the walking dance, which is the same version from Rockpool, which I do vaguely remember seeing that version, but I don't think this was the episode with it. So yeah. Oh, forgot missing Teletubby and Boo Shouter. Lala's the Boo Shouter. I'm not sure about missing Teletubby. Stonewall, or originally known as Dry Stonewall. Well, yeah. So the beginning segment, the opening music for the opening shot plays a few seconds too early, when it still shows the baby son just smiling at the camera, which I don't remember that at all. It apparently happens in a few episodes, but I don't know. The baby son sighing is a bit off sync as well. So yeah, I can't remember if it was the same opening shot from Ned's bicycle, except I think like without the windmill whooshing sound. But yeah. And yeah, it's the scene where the Teletubbies go down the slide and then they go back up. I know like the stock footage of them going up the slide was also used in the Christmas tree episode, but I'm not sure about this one. The later audio of Poe cheering when she gets chosen from the later episodes is used. The TV event's a bit shortened, I guess. I think it's to make room for a certain something that happens at the end of the episode. I won't spoil it just yet. I'll talk about it in a little bit. The baby son's giggling is different as well. And the opening shots for the wall segments are the opening shots from the sideways walk segment, I think from Digging in Sand for Crabs. I'll look it up. Yeah, it's the same ones. But I actually could have sworn it had the original opening shot, which I think was actually used when the segment was on the All Together Teletubbies DVD, was it? I don't know. But yeah, I do remember playing like the mini game on Play with the Teletubbies where you click on the blue grass, and then a voice trumpet rises and sings a nursery rhyme. But before that, something appears, and the wall was one of the things. Yeah. And I think there was also a game on the PBS Kids website based on it. I think I might have seen the segment. I'm not sure. And the baby son's giggling is in sync. At the end is not off sync. And then they do the bumping dance, which is literally the same version from the US version Music with Debbie. So yeah, this version of the dance is used in a lot of episodes, similar with the round and round dance and the happy dance. Tinky Winky's the missing Teletubby, and Lala's the boo shouter. Yeah. So in the pledge drive area, let's see. In the pledge drive area, after the wall disappears, the windmill starts spinning, and the Teletubbies go watch the Magic House. It's the same version from the Grand Old Duke of York, except they fixed that error where it didn't show the Teletubbies arriving at their destination listening for noise, which I not sure if I remember that happening, but yeah, in the in the regular airing of the episode, the voice trumpet's halfway up. By the way, Pose the missing Teletubby in the pledge drive airing, and also the boo shouter. In the rerun airing, apparently the bumping dance is the same version from Numbers 9, which I know is also in Favorite Things. Except I think in Favorite Things, the Teletubbies giggling was different, at least in the US dub of that video, which I might remember it was the same here. I don't really know if I remember this, but something weird happens. It happened in Numbers 9. It happened in Numbers 9, but I don't remember it happening here. Basically, after the Teletubbies go inside the house, shows the baby son giggling, and then the voice trumpet rises, says "Time for Tubby bye bye," and then rather than the segment ending normally, the Teletubbies are actually seen running out of the house. I do not remember this at all, but yeah, and Dipsy's the missing Teletubby, and Lala is the boo shouter. I think with the alternate ending music. Yeah, like I said, the alternate ending music with the slightly different instruments playing during Tubby Bye Bye, I think it was only used in the alternate airings of the episodes, not in the regular airings. Only like in most episodes. I can't seem to find a single episode with it. Only like some of the home videos, maybe. Yeah. And in the Sprout airing, they do the running away dance at the end, which I think might be the same version from Naughty Cloud, except they add the audio of the Teletubbies giggling. I think I have like some sort of like. Next up's Twirlers. This is an episode I've seen a lot, but it's actually a bit different than I remember. But yeah. The first segment is the Under the Arch segment from Gymnastics, the UK version, and it has the Home Hill 1 opening shot. I do remember this segment a lot, and the baby son sighing at the beginning is different. I do remember seeing this segment a few times, and I always got confused with the up and down dance. This segment is a lot shorter than that dance. But yeah, like when the Teletubbies run off to watch a TV event, it doesn't show them going out the door. It just like immediately cuts to the windmill spinning outside. Like they even have enough time to get there. And then the TV event, which the TV event is actually a lot different than I remember. Because when Poe gets chosen, the audio of her cheering when she gets chosen is the audio from Playing in the Rain. And the child narrator's voice is different, which I don't remember that at all. But actually, yeah, I remember it was a different child narrator. But on one of the DVDs I recently watched, when you select the Canadian audio language, which is basically just the UK narration. It actually plays the audio from this episode, but when you select the US language selection, it actually plays the later audio of Poe getting chosen for a TV event and the child narrator voice that I remember. But yeah, I think a similar thing happens with the Making Flowers TV event on one of the other DVDs. I'll have to upload the Twirlers TV event from that DVD sometime. And the audio of them saying again the second time's not off sync. The baby son's giggling at the end is different as well. And then the segment from Naughty Sausage, where Lala does her secret dance, which I do remember seeing this in Silly Songs and Funny Dances, but I'm not sure if I remember it in this episode. The narrator's dialogue is different than in Silly Songs and Funny Dances. The baby son's giggling at the beginning and the end of the segment are different as well. Yeah, the Right Path 1 opening shot at the beginning of the segment is a bit longer as well, and the opening music being delayed. The voice trumpet's also a bit lower as well. And Lala's the missing Teletubby, and Poe is the Boo Shouter. There's a special thanks to there's a with thanks to City of Foster City Parks and Recreation Department, California. I don't know why that's a special thanks, but yeah. It's the first episode to not have a magical event or a dance. Most of the episodes have a dance, or if they don't, they might have a magical event, but this one has neither of them. Although I actually could have sworn this might have had a dance, but I don't really think so. In the pledge drive airing, what happens in the pledge drive airing? Apparently, it's the second half, the Sunday special version of the episode where it had the original scene of the Teletubbies marching with their favorite things. I may or may not remember this, but when they watch the TV event, when they watch the animal parade, it's the same version from Rollerblading where the magical event tune actually does played, but the first part of the tune is delayed until after they say "oh" and run off. So yeah, and it's the same ending from Rollerblading where Tinky Winky is the Boo Shouter. Yeah, in the rerun airing, it has the round and round dance in the middle of the episode. It's the same version from Strawberry Picking, where it shows the shot of the Teletubbies posing at the end, which I do remember, but I don't think it was this episode. And then it's just the scene where the Teletubbies are marching with their favorite things, but when they see the windmill spinning, the windmill stops spinning, but it doesn't cut back to the Teletubbies saying "oh." Instead, it just shows the voice trumpet rising for Tubby Bye Bye. I do remember seeing a few episodes where that happened. I know it happened in Paddling Pool and Big Hug. And yeah, Paddling Pool made sense because, like, that happened at the end of a magical event. Usually it doesn't show the Teletubbies saying "uh-oh" when a magical event ends. This episode aired on August 2nd, 1998. And in the Sprout airing, stupid remote controls in my way. On the Sprout airing, it's the second half, the Good Morning episode where Dipsy wants to dance, and they go watch the Dancing Bear. I may or may not remember that. But yeah. Dipsy's the missing Teletubby in the rerun airing, while Poe is in the Sprout airing. And also, Tinky Winky is the Boo Shouter in the Sprout airing, from what I've heard. Sorry, I was fixing an error or two. That's all I do now. Is make errors in my videos. Next up is Delilah Packing. This one has the opening segment. It's the segment from Bubble Pictures, where Poe is showing how to make tubby custard. I honestly thought this episode had the other segment where Poe makes tubby custard from drawing cacti, but I was thinking of a different episode, which Coast Warren had this segment. And the segment starts with the Right Path 2 opening shot without the windmill on screen. The music plays a few seconds early. And when the windmill starts spinning, two different whooshing sounds are heard that are not heard in the original episode, which I thought was very amusing. Poe runs off to watch the TV events. It's the girl packing to go to her friend's house. The opening segment with Poe making tubby custard, the sounds of the Nunu are different. Some of the dialogue is mixed up or re-recorded. Like instead of spout, it's tap. The tubby custard tap. Yeah. I think I might have seen the TV event. I honestly thought it was in one of the video games, but I don't think it was. The baby son's giggling at the end is different. And then the next segment is the segment with Tinky Winky's heavy bag. And the opening shots are a bit different. It still has the Home Hill 1 opening shot, but this time before that they had an extra rabbit clip. One of the rabbit clips from nursery rhymes. And then... and it's the extended opening music also, which that does not happen. Here Come the Teletubbies. And I actually think I had a dream once where I saw the original ending to this episode, where the Teletubbies see the windmill spinning for the magic house, but that does not happen in this episode. Instead, they use a different shot of the baby son giggling that was not used in the Here Come the Teletubbies video. And the sound of her giggling is different than in the original episode. The next segment comes up as the falling down dance from Drawing Cacti, which this is like one of the few episodes I remember where it doesn't have the windmill spinning at the end of the dance. I swear to God, like almost every single episode I saw with it had it either that or I just saw the same few episodes over and over again. I think there were a lot of episodes. They aired all the time. I rarely ever got seeing new episodes. But yeah, I think I do remember seeing this version of the falling down dance. Honestly, I could have sworn it was honestly could have sworn it was the same version from some other episode. I'm not really sure. But yeah. And the voice trumpet's rising is delayed, but the sound of it rising is heard like before it even starts. Like when the voice trumpet's rising is delayed, you can actually see it just kind of sticking out of the ground behind the flower if you look like real closely. But yeah, very kind of like made me laugh a little bit when I first heard that. Poe is the missing Teletubby, and Tinky Winky is the boo shouter. This aired on August 3rd, 1998. In the Pledge Drive airing, it's the opening segment from My Mom's a Doctor, where Poe is just riding around on her scooter in circles, which I may or may not remember. And then after the TV event, they do the Three Ships, which has the same opening shots from Naughty Cloud. From the opening segment where the Teletubbies are marching around the trees. I don't really know if I remember those opening shots. But then after that is the Tubby Custard Tummy segment, also from My Mom's a Doctor, or My Mom's a Doctor, or whatever. But yeah, I don't think I remember this segment at all, really. And then they do the splashing dance, apparently. Actually, I may or may not have got that wrong. Let me check. Yeah, I was right. They did the splashing dance. I don't think I remember that happening this episode. Uh, but yeah. And I think Poe is the boo shouter. And in the rerun airing, it's the opening segment from Squirrels where the Nunu's cleaning up the Tubby toaster and makes a piece of Tubby toast for himself. I vaguely remember seeing this segment. But yeah. Oh, hush up, Lulu. And then apparently, like, it does have the original ending with the magic house, but they still do the not splashing dance, the falling down dance afterward. But it's the same version from Spray Paint Mural. I'm not really sure if I remember that. I kind of remember it just had the windmill stopping. I might get this information wrong. I might check to fix this error. Yeah, apparently that's what happens. That's pretty weird. Now I've lost track of where I left off. Losing track a lot lately. Lala's the missing Teletubby, and let me check. I want to say Tinky Winky is the boo shouter in this version. I think it might have had the alternate ending music. And the Sprout airing is the Too Happy Teletubbies segment from Numbers 2 version 1. I can kind of imagine how the TV event would probably start the same way as uh 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 in the 4 Happy Teletubbies segment, but with the normal windmill animation instead of the original one from the theme song. And at the end of the episode, they do the tiptoe dance, which is apparently the same version from Rolling, which I don't think I remember that version. But yeah. And Tiki Wiki's the boo shouter. I think I'm gonna end at this part. See you later.